What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome back to Two in the Zone. There's my guy, Dead Press Picks, right in the nick of time. Thank you for coming back to our show. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We talk about the NBA slate as well as, this week we're going to get into the football stuff too because it is Super Bowl week. But I do want to give a quick shout out for Seven Stack Sports, our sponsor right there on the screen. Without them, this show would not be possible. So give them a quick shout out, give them a quick follow. Definitely sign up with their book. It is the best Twitter book around. They do -105 reduced lines for the NBA. We'll see if we can do that in other sports as well. They have an amazing odds boosts every night. We do collab picks with Seven Stacks. They have over 2,000 customers. They've been in the business for 4 years. And the best part right now is they are doing a $1,000 giveaway. So definitely just retweet this video, give them a DM, and see how you can enter that $1,000 giveaway. I bet all you got to do is sign up with them, and you'll be good to go. Before we get into today's slate, I wanted to just talk about the haters, man. Dad, is that cool with you?
Yeah, you go off, man. I'll just be right
Yeah,
here.
I'm about to talk my talk right now.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so first things first. I saw a rumor today on Twitter that I live with my parents. First of all, I know I'm Asian, but I am 37 years old. Like I look young. I'm pretty old. I have two small kids that I love dearly, two small girls. I graduated from Cal in '07 with economics degree. I went to business school, graduated in '09 with a specialization in finance. And then I went to law school, graduated 2012 with a focus on international contracts. What I do when it comes to sports and handicapping is just my passion. Is what I want to do on the side. I hope to grow it one day to be a huge, full-time endeavor. But I am a practicing attorney that I do work every single day. I don't have 1,000 clients like Dad does, right? But whether I have one or 1,000, I'm always going to keep it even keel. I'm always going to focus on the positive. And let's just say every single month since I've started VIP, June 2020, I've gotten more customers. So if I was a career loser, which I'm not, but if let's say I was a loser, why would people continue to stay with me? And why would new people jump on? So you just need to make sure you ask yourself those questions. There's a lot of accounts out there, Dad, that post our place for free or post random stuff about us. But have you noticed, like this account has been posting less of my plays now since I'm winning? Like just think about the perception, right? If I'm losing, he'll go off and he'll post all his plays. If I'm winning, then you don't hear anything about me or about whether I live in my parents' house or not. So that's first of all. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is if you are an inspiring handicapper, you want to get in the sports media business, or you just want to grow a Twitter page, being competitive is fine, but bringing others down is not the way. If you look at the history between me and Dad, we kind of started around the same time, but there was a lot of competition in the beginning. He didn't like me, I didn't like him, but the more we talked it out, we understood, like we can really grow this thing together. And Dad's one of my best friends here on Twitter. And I have a lot of close friends on Twitter. Alpha Dog, A's Picks, Slam the Bookie. I'm good friends with Gertej, Pardon. I'm good friends with Joe's Picks. And then I have a really good, client base that I'm talking basically every day with, right? We talk through plays, we talk through our families, we talk about how clients have quit their jobs and now they're just betting, full time. So like, I'm trying to help the world. We're trying to make it a better place. I understand this space of selling plays and selling analysis is always going to be toxic because if someone buys a play and they lose, of course they're going to be mad. And of course they're going to try to bring myself or Dad down. But in the long term, if we were losing, we wouldn't be able to do what we do today. So just want to make sure, the haters get the story correctly. You can look me up if you want. I am on the Texas bar. Look me up. Definitely look at, the Cal class of 2007. Look at UC Irvine Business School class of '09. Look at St. Mary's Law School class of 2012. I'm right there. And I don't even hide it. My biography is on my website. All my info is on Odds Checker. It's on the Game Day. All these publications that I've worked with, it's all out there. I'm not trying to hide anything. The difference between Dead and I and other cappers, we show our face. We show our face. You know our names. You know where we are. You kind of see if how we analyze plays, whether it's good or bad. We don't mind it. If we lose, we lose. But we're gonna focus on the positive, and we're gonna keep it moving forward. So, Dad, do you have any response or replies to that?
No, you went off there. I just wanted to give you your minute. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a little different. Where I kind of play with them a little bit. The troll guys. So that's what I said. I said the guy who was posting stuff. I told him to come on one of the shows, right? And obviously they dodged that
Come on.
question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get too into it just because I find it more entertaining. It can be, like I said, it's kind of like being a politician, being a capper. Like you have like people come up with like lies and like evidence, and then this side believes it. So I mean, it's always going to be what it is. But I mean, there's millions of those type of accounts out there. The difference is some of them will come on. Like I used to just do Insta lives before I had the pleasure of doing shows. I used to just do fun Instagram lives. Used to come on a lot. So I used to actually get trolls to come on, and it was really entertaining because like we'd just be going at it. But the difference was a lot of times after, they would stay on and we would kind of like talk and be like, all right, we hashed it out. Some of them even turn into clients and people who like I still talk to now because it's fun in the moment. Like it's fun to have some controversy, but I mean, yeah. I mean, for you, I don't. You being one of my friends, when people are calling you out, I always come to your defense as well. For me, people tell me I live at home when you said that. Now, I'm only 23, so there was a point in my life where I lived at home a few years ago when I started my account. But obviously, now I don't live at home. Although I do go home a lot to have some nice cooked meals because I'm not a great cook, but. I don't think living at home really matters as far as your handicapping skills
Yeah.
go. Because,
It
like I said,
doesn't
there's
it
a lot
doesn't
of really good.
matter it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter how you recap or track your plays or whatever. If you're a winner, clients are gonna continue to come back to you. There is, different levels of transparency, and there's different levels of wanting to show your plays, but everybody has a different style. There's no right way. Just because one
Correct.
person, recaps a way doesn't mean the other person is wrong. So just want to make sure, and
Yeah.
I do want to mention a couple guys that I left out. Like I'm close with you and A's and Slam. We're in a text together, but guys like Alpha, I'm close with Hefe's picks, Sick picks. Like these guys, like I've met up in real life, and we
Mm-hmm.
would travel the world together. So I mean, these are really good friends that we all support each other. And I mean, if you want to build your page up, trying to bring us down is not the way. Like be
Mm-hmm.
open, be transparent, and help build us up, and we'll do the same for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I'm with you. I think you hit a lot of the nails there on the head. But happy you got your little speech
Yeah,
out
I'm good.
there.
I'm good now. I'm good. Like, guys, I have 2 kids. Like, why would I be trying to lie to people? All
Yeah.
right, let's get into last night's slate. Philly, man, Philly, Philly, Philly. I'm glad I laid off of it. I agreed with you though. It was a 76ers play last night, and it was a
Yep.
coin flip ending, right? They were kind of up like late there, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
third and fourth, but they lost 114-109. How do you feel about your team?
Yeah, it's disappointing with the ultimate result. We were able to kind of lock up profit there in that game because the Suns actually got to plus 650 live. I believe Philly was up by 16 mid third. I mean, look, the Suns are just a tough team to put away. I thought
Man,
they'd be a little tired there, being on a back to back end of the road trip, but I mean, they're we always talk about this, one of the best closing teams in the league because you have Chris Paul, right? Who can just he's deadly from mid range, or you have Booker who's going to get fouled or create his own shot. So when you play, and if worst case for the Suns, it collapses. It's a Cam Johnson wide open three in the corner, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, guys who can shoot the ball. So they're a
clutch.
lethal team,
Yeah.
right? To bet against, but I mean, I wasn't ultimately, like I said, I ended up being able to make something off the game, so I wasn't that upset with the ultimate result. But I mean, for Philly, man, I think as we'll talk about in this show with all the trade rumors too, you wonder with like a guy. Now Tobias played really well last night, but some other guys, was that looming in their head a little bit because it seemed like they just lost focus all of a sudden. It wasn't like they were getting outplayed. It was just rebounds and lazy turnovers. Little things started catching up. to them. I mean, Chris Paul missed the free throw. AC, we never see that, right?
Yeah,
But
but it
with a
led to a
2 minute,
three-pointer.
yeah, it turns into a 4 point possession. So that those are the kind of little things that you just can't have happen if you want to beat a team as good as the Suns. I mean, it's like playing any other great team. When you play great teams, you have to be near perfect. Little mistakes, they're going to take advantage of. So all in all, I'm not. I thought Philly played a really good first, 2.5 quarters, and then kind of like took their foot off the gas. So unfortunate end result. But here being in Philly, AC, I'll tell you, the buzz, all the focus right now. No one's talking about that Suns game. It's about James Harden
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So right now, the deal on the table allegedly is James Harden and Patty Mills, which is a huge pull, by the way, if you can include him, for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, and Andre Drummond. The only downfall there, and I'll do my quick analysis before we get to you, is
Right.
it does hurt losing Drummond. I know he's not a great player, but you can't expect Embiid, who does have a little bit of a injury, not a little bit, a lot of an injury history there, missing multiple games, multiple seasons. And if you're going to rely on him to average 45 plus minutes in the regular season, that's going to be tough. So I think losing Andre Drummond again, although his production is not great, could be pretty bad for the Sixers there. But how do you rate the trade or the offer right now?
Yeah, so for me, AC, the biggest thing is keeping Tyrese Maxey, right? Because one, I mean, he's
And
kid.
Dallas native, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Two, I just got a signed picture of him, so that would suck
Okay, yeah,
if
he can't.
he just gets traded. And third, I mean, he's a pivotal part of this team. Him and Joel Embiid have really gained good chemistry, right, on this team. And just at his current age, I don't think they're gonna have to give him up. See, the thing is it's an interesting situation because both of these teams kind of know they're screwed in a way, right? The Nets know if they don't do this, Harden likely walks to Philly in the offseason. There's a lot of connections there. He has connections with Michael Rubin, the ownership here in Philly. Obviously, Daryl Morey, and the third thing is James. It seems like he wants to get out of Brooklyn. Right? It's being reported he's not hurt right now. His hamstrings are fine. He's just being held out because he doesn't really
Yeah.
want to play. That's a red flag. So if Brooklyn holds on to him, then they could get, fucked and get nothing out of this deal. The issue though for Philly becomes Ben Simmons, right? Do we want to hold on to him? Absolutely not. So it's kind of like an interesting situation because both these teams know like they have to get rid of these guys, and then it becomes the supporting cast. Now, Patty Mills, I think, would be a great addition, right? Because he's a spot up shooter, veteran guy. He's a winner. He's been in winning cultures with the Spurs teams for years. So he brings a championship DNA to the team as well. I think if they give up Thibault and Seth, I think that for me, it's okay. Thibault's a phenomenal defender. I think he's a top, 10 defender in the league, but I would do it.
What if it was Maxi instead of Thibault?
No, I
So
think
Maxi's where you draw the line.
I think Max is untouchable in the deal, yeah.
Okay,
And I
gotcha.
think that they've made that evident. Again, Seth, great player, great shooter. He's an old Maverick. So you guys had him. Sixers
Yeah.
fleeced the Mavericks in that deal. So if you can kind of work it
You
out,
guys
so
went to
like
jail for that, yeah.
yeah, where Patty Mills kind of, I'm not going to say he fills the Seth role because Seth's a better shooter, but Patty's a good enough shooter that I think if you can add him to the deal, and then at the
All right,
deadline,
let me play devil's advocate. All right. Okay, so
right?
we know James Harden's history. He quit
Mhm.
on the Rockets. He's currently quitting on the Nets. What if you guys trade him? And it's hard to win a title. I mean, at the end of the day, only one team wins, right? Let's say you guys end up making the trade. He doesn't win. There's some animosity between, Joel, who is the crown jewel of the team.
Mhm.
No one denying that, and James Harden. And James Harden eventually quits in 6 months. So what happens then? Like that is a risk you're willing to take because we know Ben is still a top 15, top 20, top 25 type player, but we know he's not returning back to Philly.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I probably become like a Warriors fan. I see if this nothing's working out. I don't think it can be worse than I know it can't be worse in the situation with Ben, right? Not only between him and Embiid, but just between him and the city, him and the management. I mean, the Ben situation needs like a 30 for 30 because it's absurd that this guy.
Oh, there'll be a 30 for 30 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, he had a god awful playoff series, right? Historically bad, one of the worst I think it was the worst free throw performance ever. So And if you rewatch the game, I have nightmares
I
of him
love you
playing.
Philly people, man.
Yeah, he can dunk over Trae Young. I mean, I could dunk over Trae Young. Instead, he kicks it out to Matisse Thybulle, who's not a scorer. It's not even like he dumps it to Embiid. And I mean, that play, it'll be replayed forever because it was just like, what the hell was he doing? The issue for me with Ben, I mean, you have to understand being booed when you play that bad, right? We talk about his cappers, AC. We were just talking about this. When you suck or when I suck, you understand when people essentially boo you and say, you know what, dude, you got to pick it up. It's part of the business. It's part of. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're a lawyer for
You
a living,
want
right?
them, yeah,
Not
you want them to boo you if you
yeah, if
suck.
you're not doing your job, you
Yeah.
deserve to be criticized in any
Agreed.
field that you work in. He's in the NBA. He's being paid millions of dollars. I mean, he has it made for him. I mean, the hate that I have for Ben Simmons is stronger than any athlete, and I mean that any Philly athlete that I've ever watched, and
All right.
probably will.
All right. I know we can stick on this topic for another hour, but let's go ahead and move forward. There's a lot of comments in the live right now. Favorites. You and I have been talking about it in the NBA. They're 24-3 against the spread in the last 3 days. That to me is super lame, but that's it's an opportunity for people like you and me to kind of find angles, right? We don't have to always bet dogs or contrarian. We have our guy Jay Money. Jay Money was a guest on our show a couple weeks ago. He said, "What's up?" He thinks that would be a big win for the Nets if this trade goes through. So that's interesting. And then KDZ had a comment about, do you think Curry can pull it off without Clay tonight? So I didn't know Clay was out tonight. That is going to be important. Let me get into one more game from last night, Dead, and we'll get into tonight's slate. The nightcap, the big game that everybody wanted to watch, ended up being a big blowout. The Bucks went into LA, took care of business, 131-116. Defense for the Lakers, horrible. Giannis went off. Let me give you his stat line, Dead. Giannis had 44 points on 17 of 20 shooting, 2 from 2 from the three-point line, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. He showed LeBron who's the best player on the court last night. How do you feel about the Bucks? I think they're about to start rolling again, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're still the team to beat in the East, right? They just won, the finals, obviously, and I think they got better, right? Overall, even in the offseason, I like the addition of Grayson Allen that they made. Brooke Lopez hasn't played, and he was a pivotal part of that run, but Bobby Portis has kind of been inserted, and he's been great. So I don't know, man. I don't see a team like my prediction is the Heat win the East. I want to be a little fun with my prediction. I don't want to be like Bucks Warriors finals.
Yeah, yeah.
But the reality is the Bucks are the best team in the East. My bigger concern, and I put this tweet out last night: who's more disappointing, Lakers or Knicks? I think you can make a debate because the Lakers were expected to be a title team, right?
As the Knicks, yeah, the Knicks would
So
be disappointing, in
but the
my
Knicks are
opinion.
at least expected to make the playoffs. Yeah, so I would say the Knicks in a way because the Lakers realistically are going to get into the playoffs. Now they could be in a play-in spot. Obviously, like that could get a little scary for them. Remember last year, right? They with the Warriors playing game.
The Lakers want to be 6. They want to be 6. They don't want to be in that
Yeah,
play-in
you can't get
game.
playing.
And because you're going to play either the Suns or the Warriors, you don't want to
Yeah.
do that in the first round. You want to be 6 at the very least, so you can play
Mm-hmm.
the Grizzlies at this point.
But the thing is, and this was another thing yesterday. Will they make a move at the deadline? I don't believe that there's a player in the NBA, right, that's tradable that could be inserted into this Lakers lineup and make them a championship team. I think it was just a poorly designed team, right?
They got the wrong wizard, man. They should have gotten Bradley Beal.
Yeah, they should get. And I was critical during the preseason. I mean, I would joke and say there are a bunch of dinosaurs on the team, but they are so old,
Yeah.
and their health has showed up. Right, LeBron's been out. Davis is
True.
made of glass. He's always out. Westbrook's breaking the glass on every shot he takes. They just don't have it this year. So, I mean, I was on the Lakers last night. They see, I like as I said, as a dog, I feel like they've been okay to me. Absolute blowout of a game, and it was pretty much. And I never say this in the NBA. In the first quarter, it felt done, and that's
It
insane.
was over, yeah.
The NBA, I mean, you know how it goes.
All right. Before we get into tonight's slate, guys, let me give a quick shout out to 7 Stack Sports. Dad, if you could share this real quick. But everybody who's in the live stream right now, we have over 130 in the live. Just retweet this video and you're going to be eligible for $1,000 Super Bowl giveaway. That's $1,000 Super Bowl giveaway for the best book on Twitter. They do same day payouts when you're using cryptocurrency, reduce minus 105 lines. They do, odds boosts. They have amazing promotions. They've been in the business for over 4 years, have over 2,000 customers. So please retweet this just to get eligible for free money to bet on the Super Bowl. All right, let's get into tonight's slate real quick. So tonight, I'll start here at the Spurs and the Cavs. The Cavs haven't slowed down, even though they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. They are 5.5-point favorites at home against the Spurs. Dead, am I wrong here? But I think it's a San Antonio play.
Yeah, I like San Antonio. I hope so, right? Because of our bet preseason. 9 more. They have to get 9 wins, right?
I think so. I think we're safe, bro.
I mean, yeah, but like 9 wins seems so easy, and then I'm like, wait, can they get there? Yeah, I like it. We want to give a shout out to a show favorite here, big DeJounte Murray fans, getting into the All-Star game as well. I like the angle there, AC, though. I think it could definitely be a Spurs play.
All right, moving on to this next game, we have the Bulls and the Hornets. The Bulls right now are 1.5-point favorites on the road against Charlotte. I'll give you some numbers with Charlotte here. They're 31-24 against the spread. They're 15-10 at home against the spread. Everybody right now knows the streak in the NBA. Favorites are covering at a crazy number, but I feel like this is an underdog home play. Hornets are not doing well right now. They've lost the last five games in a row, but they're only 1.5-point favorites or underdogs against the best team in the East. I think it's a Charlotte play. I'm not sure if it's going to be an official VIP play yet, Dead, but I do like Charlotte tonight to kind of upset Chicago.
Am I wrong has this line moved a lot? Like, did it open in Chicago 3?
It has. It opened Bulls -3. Now it's Bulls -1.5.
Okay. So that could also be the health of, Levine or one of those guys who've kind of been in and out of the lineup. We know Ayo's out, also DeSumo. So they're down to their third point guard, right, in the lineup because Ayo actually has been playing outstanding, right? We know Lonzo's been out. Interesting stat with the Bulls, you see, they have not beaten a top 5 NBA team, not once. So they're a good team, and they're 0-3 against my Sixers this year. I don't know how good this team really is, right? Like, they had their whole – I don't want to say they had their whole – they had their 3 guns against the Suns. They covered. I was on them. They should not have covered. They were getting absolutely pieced up from, start to finish. Like that, and that was like an 8-point spread, 7-point spread. I'm with you here. I think that the line's a little
I think the Hornets get it done, yeah.
Yeah, we know no Gordon Hayward, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's for them tonight. I think it could be how many have they lost in a row? 5 or 6, the Hornets? I know they've been ice cold.
They lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, it could be a good bounce back spot here at home. I like the Hornets tonight, even though they just did me wrong in their last game.
By the way, the AO is out tonight for Chicago. He has a concussion. Yep. So, all right, moving on here, the Raptors and the Thunder. We usually like the Thunder as a heavy home underdog. They're 10-point underdogs today against the Raptors, who are flying high, man. The Raptors are doing so well. They're 30-21 against the spread. They are on an amazing streak. Let's see. They're 5-0 straight up in the last 5. They've covered all 5 games. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games on the road. Thunder, as you know, is not a very good team, and they are out without Shai Gilgeous tonight. They're only 1-7 straight up at home in their last 8. So how do you see tonight's game playing out?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the absence of SGA, who I think is a top 20 player in the league when right. I mean, I'm very high on SGA. So I think that's a significant hit, obviously. It's a lot of points, though. Raptors have been so hot. And my theory for tonight is every dog somehow, some way gets there.
I hope so, man.
I don't know how, but they're going to. So
the dogs need a bark.
I got to include the Thunder on this as well. Great season from my guy, Josh Giddey, so far. Lou Dort's going to be a guy who could step up. It's a lot of points. The play that I would normally make, though, in this game is a team total under for the Thunder just because the Raptors defensively – they don't rank super high in the NBA, but that's also because it's kind of been skewed. They haven't really had their full lineup intact. They have a lot of really good defenders on that team, and they play at a very slow pace offensively. They're patient. They don't really look to push a ton. So I like that angle as well. And Gary Trent Jr. has just been unbelievable. Another guy, by the way, AC, you know where he came from, right? The Portland
Portland, the
Trailblazers.
worst front
So,
office in
I
the
mean,
league.
you know what they remind me of? The Pittsburgh Pirates when they went through that stretch where every good pitcher, you were like, yeah, where'd this guy come from? Oh, Pittsburgh too. It's kind of a similar thing right now. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to trade Anthony Simmons for a second-round pick.
Right. All right. This next game here is a rematch. They actually just played last night. It's kind of like a playoff format here. But the Timberwolves are still at the Kings. Timberwolves are getting, they're favored by 9 points against Sacramento in Sacramento. Game last night ended as a 20-point blowout. The Timberwolves beat the Kings 134-114 last night. And now they're 9-point dogs, basically 1 point more than they were. Sorry, they're 9-point favorites, basically 1 point more than last night. I think it's still a Timberwolves read, but that is a lot of points, right, Dad?
Oh no, the Kings get it done tonight. I say.
Okay.
I like the back-to-back. This is also assuming De'Aaron Fox plays, right? Harrison Barnes played really well last night. Fox played really well last night. It's an interesting game there because you mentioned it's literally like a true like back-to-back where they didn't move cities. Like nothing is different about this game. Full Groundhog Day atmosphere here. But the thing is if you watch that game, I don't know if you watched it last night, the Kings offensively actually were getting clappable misses. What I mean by that, like they were getting good looks. You can deal with them. You can live with them. I was on Davion Mitchell's over. We had 16.5. He was nowhere close. I think he had 8 points. His nickname's Off Night AC because, he's a good defender. He was off last night. So I wasn't happy with his performance, but you know what? Maybe he gets a bounce back in tonight's game. Issue is once he gets to that Kings bench, I mean, it is thin. Like they don't have much depth at all.
And
But
they
you know
just
what?
made those trades, right? So they're missing a ton of guys.
Yeah, they're missing a ton of pieces. And I'm not sure if you saw Naz Reid end Alex Lynn's life last night, but he had one of the dunks of the year. So if you got to look that up after the show. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, I went 1-1 yesterday. I had an RJ Barrett over rebounds. He's been rebounding really well recently, and somehow he only grabbed 2, so that was an L.
That's real.
But the other one was a Harrison Barnes over 18.5 points. He
There
ended
you
up
go.
with 21, so that was a nice win. All right, the Lakers, second night of the back-to-back against the aforementioned Portland Trailblazers with the worst front office in the league. Is this a bounce back spot for LA? They are 9.5-point favorites on the road against Portland.
You will never find me laying 9.5 with that Lakers team. They don't have the shooting to do it. I mean, I don't think they have enough guys to really trust laying 10. And I feel like they, again, they're on a back-to-back. Portland also on a back-to-back. But this is a game, AC, that you just cross out if you're betting. Maybe you could find some, good plays in the prop market. I have not been able to really find them. Props, coming out a little bit later. So I don't want to say I want to have a play in that game, but as far as the side's concerned, no. Maybe a total. Do you know what the total is currently sticking at? Because I could see an underplay here.
The total is 223.5.
See, I think that's
steaming to the under. Yes.
Where the scoring comes from with either of these teams. I know the Lakers obviously have scorers, but
maybe an Anthony Simons prop. It's only going to be him, right, for Portland.
Yeah, I could see him going off.
All right, the last game of the night here. I think this is a fishy line. Maybe you think differently, but the Warriors are traveling to Utah. Utah is still missing Rudy Gobert, but they do have Donovan Mitchell back. Joe Ingles out for the year. Rudy Gay most likely out tonight as well. We mentioned some of the injuries that the Warriors are dealing with. Draymond is still out. Clay is going to be out tonight due to rest. Wiseman's still out. Iguodala is out. So I think it's still Steph versus Donovan Mitchell. The spread here is Utah Jazz -2 favored against the Warriors. And we know how well the Warriors have been and how much the Jazz have been struggling at home. Is this a sucker bet, or do you think this is a Jazz play at -2?
No, I think it's a get me right spot for the Jazz. And I think when we talk public, favorite, money, whatever, I think the public dog here becomes Golden State because people just love betting on Golden State, and for good reason. I did not know Clay was officially out. So the line to me, but, if you look at the Jazz too, obviously, like Gobert is a massive, massive miss for them. Mm-hmm. Is Whiteside back in the lineup? Do you know?
He should be back today.
Okay. Well, that's a big pickup because, I mean, then you're not on your third center here. So, yeah, assuming Whiteside goes and Jordan Clarkson go, who are important parts of that team, off their bench, Whiteside would be inserted into the starting lineup. I do think that the Jazz are the better team here if it's, Steph only, because as great as, Steph is, it's a lot of heavy lifting that he would have to do on the road in Utah tonight. So I like the Jazz.
All right, beautiful. I think I agree with you. I think the Jazz do get it done, even though the line is moving the other way.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we talk about is public underdogs, and the Warriors are going to be
Yeah,
a big public dog
yeah,
today.
they'll
So,
be public dog.
all right, any final thoughts, Dad, before we end the show? It was a very explosive, a lot of talking about, just about everything today. Is the
Yeah.
Harden deal done yet?
I'm waiting. I mean, I have my notifications set up. Nothing yet.
Don't you
But
have
again,
Maury on speed dial?
yeah, I'm gonna have to hook that up. I DM'd the Nets reporter yesterday, and I said, "Do you think it's gonna get done?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Pinky promise." He said, "No." So I don't trust that guy because he didn't pinky promise
he
me.
didn't.
But
He didn't pick it. Yeah.
at least he said yes because you know what? And he had a blue check, so maybe he's legit. Although anyone can get blue checks nowadays. So I believe in him enough. I think it'll get done, AC, but I think it gets done tomorrow. I think they take this thing down to the final day. They kind of test everything they can, but I do think it gets done,
Okay.
hopefully. But again, shout out to Seven Stack Sports, guys, the best sports book on Twitter. $1,000 giveaway tonight. Remember to retweet this video. You can become eligible as well. Give them a follow on Twitter. You must be following Seven Stacks. A huge Super Bowl promotion as well. 200% free play bonus and a risk-free first bet up to $50. So make sure you take advantage of the best in the business. Everyone's been getting on. I feel like everyone I talk to nowadays is associated with Seven Stacks. So really happy to see them getting their flowers, right? They've been doing a great job. 4 years in the business, serving to thousands of customers, same day payout in crypto. Give them a look, and we will be back, my friend, on Friday. We will have a double episode Friday, right? Because we
Yes.
have our boy Ricky Bobby and Joe's picks joining us Friday for some Super Bowl breakdown. I'm sure Ricky will bring his hockey picks as well. So
It'd
stay
be the
tuned.
biggest show on Twitter, man. It'd be the
Yep.
biggest thing Twitter has seen. Can't
Yeah,
wait.
we're excited for that. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night, and let's get James Harden by the end of this night.